Come friend, now lend me an ear, for a tale of Victor the Weird. He went on an adventure with him and himself, and also his mighty fine beard. Now gather round, I'll tell you about this mighty beast. He may look as human, as mere as you, friend, but soon your eyes will feast upon this marvelous creature with many body parts. His one shirt may fool you, but what if I told you his chest had 4 red hearts? One mouth but 1,000 voices, one mind and limited choices. 2 handsome dice, 2 handsome dice. The audience rejoices. He's going to play D&D with him, himself, and he. Those are his pronouns, it's really profound. It's time for D&Me, featuring Victor and Victor and Victor, and Victor and Victor and Victor, and Victor and Victor and Victor and Victor and Victor. One knows who knows how many repeats. So come and sit down in an empty seat. It's time for D&Me. 2 eyes, 4 cheeks, 2 souls on his feet, 2 hands for winning and foes to defeat, 1 tongue, 2 lips through which to speak, but just one but.
Hey everybody, I'm Victor Rivera and welcome to D&Me, where I play with myself. I play D&D with myself, and welcome to episode 23. That theme song was produced and performed by Bradley Owens. You can find them on Instagram at Bradley Owens, Bread L-E-Y. And hello, I'm just so excited. What a cool... sometimes I step out of myself and think, like, I have a D&D show, and I have a theme song by Bradley Owens, and like my font is my handwriting, and I'm looking at all my cool setup that I have, and so I'm very grateful for this show and for you, my audience. So thank you for being here. Right before I started, I saw in the chat my dad going, looking forward to another great episode, which, I mean, that just fills me up. Isn't that great? So gracias, papi. So, here, before we step into episode 23, I have a couple things. One, I'm looking at this banner that I also designed, and there's a little adjustments I can make. So, for example, Onyx, if you look at Onyx's beard right now, there is a total of 6 vertebrae. But in the last episode, I described like 3 and like piles of 4 and 5 vertebrae and like a macabre wind chime. So here we go. Isn't that so much better? Look at that. Isn't that just... that's visceral. That's what that is. You can just imagine like the clink, 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 clink. That's... ooh, what a visual. Well, great. And so the other adjustment that I made is that Rock, when they defeated the snowman, picked up a hat of wizardry. So I wanted to give him a hat of wizardry. Here we go. Bop. Isn't that just fun? In my head, I picture Rock's aesthetic of mostly like dark colors that have been through the wash so many times that their black is not like a bold black, but it's like faded. So if the dye or the fabric underneath was actually like a red black or a brown black or a blue black, that's kind of what I'm going here with a Rock, because like his pants are faded. Like I have a pair of black pants that I have had since like high school, and they are not black anymore. So that's kind of what I'm going with his whole aesthetic. And then his hat is like worn for many, many, many years. So that's great. It kind of has a Fantasia thing going on, which I only looked up afterwards. I was like, that look, click, okay. But I like it, so. Tutu, come on, Baggio. So that's it. And then I just have one D and revision, which is right at the end. Rock was given the outro, and then he / me couldn't think of the word for like the strong contrast between light and dark as described in art theory. So it is chiaroscuro, which is Italian for light and dark, which is like literally like the composition of this right now. This is all like all the graphics and stuff, and this is all very light, and then the attention paid to these dark strips right here. That's chiaroscuro. So that's like shadowing in art. And it makes pieces pop more rather than just, blands of light. So that's what he was trying to get at with like dark scenes make pieces pop. And that's it. 5 minutes. Hot dog. Let's hop into episode 23. Episode 23. What happened in the last couple episodes, Victor? So episode 22, which is Oops, All Fairies. My boys got back into town. Is that right? Yeah, they got back into town from outside of Waterdeep. Onyx and Rock and Toot Toot got back in town from dealing with a ogre zombie and a snowman in order to help open back up the timber and lumber path for one of their friends. And so as they returned back, then Onyx went to go check in on the Buzzard Bros, and he got his bones back, and then his hides cured, and some pieces of silver dragon hide. So that, he was off on his own little adventure. And then we divided up into 3 stories where, oh, that's right. Because at the end of all of that, they went back to the Troll Skull Manor, and then Rock and Toot Toot Leaf made chalk art all over the place. So their ghost that lives in their house made chalk all over the place. And then right at the end, then Toot Toot departed, going down to the yawning portal where he dressed up as Grog Strongjaw, and then witnessed in the 3-story tavern one of the fairies that they met in the woods, Piper Perry, floating people around, and through some wild magic mishap dropped a dragonborn into the 40-foot wide How Many Stories Down well. And then Toot Toot tried to save him, but he was unlucky. And then he left. And then Rock went to go see the lady that he likes in the bookstore called Bookworm's Treasure. And there was one of the other fairies, Blake Blossom, who was in the aisles, the bookshelves. And they caused a distraction. And then both Rock and Paige, the wordsmith, another dragonborn, snuck away and then vanished through Dimension Door, and then went back to the Troll Skull Manor. And then Onyx met his fairy up in the field ward after leaving the Buzzard Bros Butchers and Talons and Tanning, where he left with all his bones and his hides, and then was confronted by his fairy named Amber Rain, and there was a whole beautiful dream scene where he was painted with blood, ooh, red, and Amber brought to his attention like his bloody past, but Onyx knows that he's a different man now. So that's kind of where we left off. So following on the back of that, then let's follow Onyx from the field ward. Bop. So again, field ward is up here, and then let me get my arrow. So this is the field ward, and then the Buzzard Bros are over here, so he's coming back this way. And as he's coming down, hold on, I want to put my arrow back. Great. Y'all didn't see that arrow there before, huh? So, Onyx is making his way down. Now he's kind of a still energy as he's just letting his feet guide him. And after a little bit, then the day transitions into late afternoon, early evening. And with this, Onyx kind of finds himself, and he hears like people running past him of frivolity, and then he kind of opens his eyes to the rest of the Fey Day festivities, and Onyx kind of stops. He makes his way out of the middle of the road and looks around, and then checks with his hides, and again he checks to make sure that there's no blood splattered on himself or the hides themselves. And he thinks about going back to the Troll Skull Manor, but then he adjusts the cloth-covered bundle under his arm, and then decides now's a good time. Oh, and with his bones, yeah. And so then he heads towards the block that the Trollskull Manor is at, and the Trollskull Manor is a piece of property that my boys were given for, oh dear, I clicked the wrong button. There we go. For a good deed. So he scurries over, and then he makes it into this, like, this little, almost conical building, where the first floor is maybe 3/4 as tall as all the other first floors on this block, but very much in a teepee fashion. Then the roof comes to this dramatic point upwards, and smoke is billowing. No smoke is billowing out the windows. And so he goes up, and then he knocks on the door, and then, like, he has his arms full, so he kind of, like, adjusts, like, he has some hides under, like, in his arm, and so then he puts his chin and then, like, knocks awkwardly with his hand. And then inside he hears, come on in. And then Onyx kind of kicks open the door a little bit, and the door, and inside it's dark, mostly dark, but the windows are open, so there are, like, chest high beams of light coming in, and inside we see a row of teeth, and connected to that row of teeth is a shark. So this shark Triton goes, "Oh, hello. You've been here before. Come on in. It's cold outside." Well, actually, hold on. And then this shirtless Bruce, who we met before for Steam and Steel, he steps back a little bit, and he goes, "Happy Fay Day." And then looks at Onyx expectantly. And then Onyx, "Yeah, happy Fay Day. No, you come in, and then you do, like, a little skit. Do you have a skit?" And then Onyx, "No, I don't have a skit." "Oh, okay. Do you have, music? Do you play an instrument? I see that you have your arms full, but I mean, it's Fay Day. You come in, and, it's the whole point of it. Do you have a lute?" "Do I have a lute?" "No." Do you play the lute?" Okay. All right. The question was, do you play the lute? "Yeah." Do you have one?" "No, I don't have a lute." "So can you sing?" "I can try to sing. Onyx back. All right. And then Bruce is just staring kind of blankly over at Onyx. "All right, no, it's fun. And, singing's not for everyone. That's fine." And then Onyx will roll performance. It should be with disadvantage, huh? Yeah, disadvantage. So that was an 11 minus 1, and that's a 14 minus 1. So a 10 altogether. Then Bruce kind of steps back. "All right, no, it's fine. We had other fun songs people coming, but come in. What can I do for you?" And then Onyx, like, waddles in, and then he kind of puts down his hides, and then his cloth bundle, and then takes off his backpack with all the bones, and then, like, his macabre wind chime clangs. "Sorry. Can you make me armor? Your wife said that you're the armor guy." "Yeah, I can make armor. What you need?" "I want these bones." And then he kind of, like, opens up the top bit of his backpack, but bones are already sticking out, like femurs, heads and stuff, and so he dumps out the bag, and then Bruce goes, "Oh, that's a lot of bones. Yeah, I like bones. I can see that. You have bones in your beard. Yeah, I have bones in my beard. All right. And then Onyx starts like unbuttoning his outer white wear and like starts taking off his jacket, and then underneath is this black breastplate, and then on the front is like a bunch of cement like scratchings because he like it looks like it was just drugged behind a truck and all scratched up, and so he starts taking off his breastplate, and then okay, so can you put those bones like on this breastplate and then make it look cool and stuff, and then protect me some more? Yeah, let me take a look at that. And so then Bruce kind of grabs the breastplate and then he will inspect it. All right. With a 16 plus 1, with a 17. Then Bruce takes it and then he looks over the really, it's just front of it. And then he kind of runs his fingers over it and then his eyes narrow. And then he flips it over and then checks out like the side designs of it and like the straps, and then his eyes narrow even more, and then you see concern start to spread on his face, and then he goes, listen, and then he hands back the breastplate. I've told your group before that I don't want anything to do with your lot. I want to do good work for people, and like the coin doesn't matter. Now both of them are molding the voice, so the coin doesn't matter. I just want to keep my family safe, so no thank you. And then Onyx, wait, what do you mean? What group? Like this the small one and then the two tall ones? What? No. What? Oh no, that lot from earlier, are they part of your group? They're my whole group. Your whole group? Yeah, it's just us four. Oh, are you not connected? What? We live together. I don't know you. We don't deal with the Xanathar Guild. We don't deal with Zentirum, so I don't want to handle any of your business. Please collect your bones and what does it? No, we're not part. We're just our own adventuring party. This is a Xantirum breastplate. Oh, yeah, no, we stole that from a warehouse. There were a bunch of dead guys, so we took it. Yeah, no, we're not with them. They were bad. And then Bruce will roll a insight check on Onyx with that same 16, with that same die. Putting that aside. You're not part of the Zentirum. You just have Zentirum armor. Yeah, it was in a box. I broke open the box and I took it. Toot, the tall fellow, the elephant, he has something too. He has like medium armor or something. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. That's why we like scratched it up so that people wouldn't know that it was Zentirum. But you know, because you're an armor guy, so that actually makes sense. So you really just want me to put bones on this and then make it like more powerful or like protect me more? Yeah, yes please. And then Bruce like takes a minute of calculation as staring at this dwarf just with this embarrassment of riches and trophies around his feet. You're a strange little fella, you know that, right? Yeah, I'm a bone boy. What does that even mean? I don't know. My friends call me that. Well, all right. Well, you promise you're not with them? No, I'm with the other ones. We don't have a name yet for our group. It's something we're working on. But, yeah. can you do it, please? And then I also have like armor, but this kind of counts as armor. Can you do something with these? And then he lifts up the cloth bundle, and then he unwraps the cloth over it, and then inside are like these 4 rectangles of silver dragon hide. And then Bruce goes, "Gah, I wish there's more silver." Right, you were the ones with the silver bars earlier. Yeah, that was us. Well, what do you want with these? And then Onyx goes, and then like zooms in, and it's a whisper. And then a while later, then Bruce coming out of the whisper, "All right, well, I have those, and we'll get those done, but then these," like he gestures over to a work table, and you see the 4 rectangles of silver dragon hide with some patterns, like some thin parchment with some geometric patterns cut out of it. It's a pattern if you do like costuming and stuff. So he points over to the workbench. "But first, I'll deal with this breastplate and then put some bone. Do you have a particular design?" "No, I just want it to look really cool." "All right, I love creative freedom. I appreciate that. I need this kiln to be turned on. So, Nugget, can you get in here?" And then you hear some like rummaging in a back room, and then like this. I don't remember what it was last time. So this like chain bead curtain like open up, and then you see like this 6-year-old boy come out going, "Yeah, no, what you need?" "Come here, Nugget. Onyx, this is my son, Nugget. His name's Asher. So, Asher, this is Onyx."
"Nice to meet you."
"Yeah. Here we go." And then Onyx like waves back. "Ash, could you produce some more, Ash?" And then Asher like kind of smiles big at Onyx, and then walks over to the fireplace of the forge. So he goes over to the forge, and then and then from his mouth is like this like spit of flame, and then it goes catches the forge on fire, and then from this like underglow, this bottom lit it's Bruce, and then he's smiling big with his like wide mouth of teeth, and he goes, "That's awesome. All right, thank you, son."
"You're welcome, Dad. Happy Friday!"
And then he waves at Onyx, and then Onyx is just like puzzled, like not even puzzled, just like, okay. "Bye, happy Friday." Does he sing? And then making his way back into the back room of Steam and Steel, then Asher stops and turns around, and you hear Bruce go, "Does he sing? Oh boy, howdy. Here." As I quickly type into a poorly loading internet search. Does he sing? Oh boy, does he sing. Hold on 2 seconds. Oh, this is embarrassing, huh? And then he kind of, Asher turns around in like a cool, like performative kid way, like, "Get down. I want it that way. Tell me why." And then Bruce goes, "Oh, all right, that's great. All right, go back in there. Are your sisters back there?"
"Yeah."
"All right, well, I'll be back there in a minute. I just need to start on this. So, all right, thank you. Onyx, you can pick up this, and then the other stuff, like tomorrow late morning. And then Onyx goes, okay, great, thanks. And then that will be 130 gold. So, well, no, it needs to be more than that because it's the... So, 200... Excuse me. So, the breastplate that he got for free in the Kenku warehouse is 400 gold. But he already got it. But in order to up its armor class, I want it to be expensive because I don't exchange a lot of coin in this game, and it could be more fair. So I'll say for another point up in armor class, that'll be 200. And then for what he wants for the Silverhide rectangles, that'll be 15 gold each. So 260 altogether. That seems pretty good, huh? And it didn't take me 7 minutes to figure all that out. Steam and steel. Great. I'll figure all that out later. So then Onyx heads out with his hinds on it, like it. No, the backpack he'll leave there just to hold the bones underneath the work table. But he comes back with 2 rolled up hides. One's a wolf pelt and then one's a arrow hawk pelt. And then he trudges back to the Trollskull Manor. Hey! I have a first-time chat from viewer, Goat versus Fish! Fish versus Goat. I literally was watching your stream like half an hour before I started this. So thanks, Goat versus Fish. And then, let's see. As we go to Rock's scene, then Dodie or something, 708, says, the Onyx encounter still gives me chills. Yes, that was one of my best scenes, was in the last episode with Onyx versus Amberine. So, Spruce H says at 717, the Battle of the Voices. I know, last episode was also Paige and Rock, which they're a little too similar, but I'm trying to differentiate them. And then Spruce H also says, 720, I love my Bone Boy, and then like a tentacle emoji. Yeah, Onyx is great. So we go. Oh my gosh, I didn't even read what Goat versus Fish said. I just saw that he chatted and I was excited. So it's spinny head emojis of him and then a purple heart, probably for Rock. It'd be very sweet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. Thanks, Goat versus Fish. All right, so we're going over to our half-orc wizard who, delightful. Okay, and then, yes, we're going back where Rock in the last episode went over to the bookstore, Bookworm's Treasure, and then kind of got Paige out of there and then took her to the Trollskull Manor where she went inside a little bit. And then after Rock disguised himself as Paige and checked on the 14 remaining customers, then he ran back to go get Paige and then bring her back to her store. So let's start as they enter back into the Bookworm's Treasure. And then he kind of, he like opens the door for Paige, and Paige, who is a short, stout, bronze dragonborn with a whole bunch of teal rust all over her, she enters and she, well, thank you very much. And then Rock kind of stands up straight, and I still have all of this force going on in my mouth. So, British. All right, there we go. And so Rock goes, you are welcome. Here you go. And then Rock lets Paige in, and then Rock takes half a step in and goes, wait, hold on. And then he slowly lets the door close, and then the bell above it goes, king, ding, ding. And so Rock is standing awkwardly outside, and then Paige is looking at him through the window, and then he goes, huh. And then he will cast Disguise Self on himself. One last time. Oh, no, he has another spell slot after that. So he will disguise himself into the Asian gentleman that he was in the last episode, where he was dressed kind of like as the Jolly Green Giant, so a toga with ivy leaves on it, and this tall, thin, lanky Asian elf with pointed ears and almond eyes, and then with green little makeup on with curly cues and little dots and stuff. And then he opens the door like very presentorily, and then you hear the cling, cling, cling again. And then Paige is just smiling, watching this happen. And then he walks in like with his arms up. Hello, I would like to... Oh, I need to do a scene or a song. Well, actually, and then this Asian gentleman, the green gets darker around his cheeks, and he goes, I've been thinking about writing poetry, so here's a haiku for you, shopkeep. And then Fayday is here now, mischievous on top of stories of books, please. That was off the top of my head, and it was not very good. So I apologize. You know what? No. Learning is sometimes making mistakes, so I do not apologize. This was just... I'm sorry, I need time to, think and actually write stuff. So... And then Paige, claps very sweetly. No, that was wonderful. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, proprietor of this establishment. You are... And then she kind of does a bend from the hips. You are welcome, dear customer, patron of my... And then she, scratches her nose, and with one of her talons, clears off some of the sand. To my place. Oh, this is hard, isn't it? Yes, I know, right? But we're turning a new leaf of pages. No, that... Paige, could we just find some books? Yes, we can find some books, yes. And so then Rock goes back to the language section where he was interrupted from finding books. And then he shows interest in this beginner's ASL, which is ASMR sign language book. And then Paige chimes in, Leaf was demonstrating for me the alphabet of ASL, and it is great. Oh shit. No, there we go. P and Q. There we go. I'd learned something, and it was really easy to pick up, and I am also interested in learning more. And then Rock is just, amazing. Well, this one, and then Sylvan, I don't... You know what? I will comprehend languages whenever we are there, but I don't need to learn Sylvan right now. I live... One of my mansion mates needs to learn ASL, so I will do that. If I move in with Woodrow, then I will learn Sylvan for him. And so, that. And then, at this point, because it's been a while since Paige left, then some of the patrons are ready to check out. So she does business with patrons, and they leave, and Rock is looking around just at more books and stuff. And then after a little bit, then he eventually comes up to an empty desk checkout counter, and then he puts down the beginner ASL book, and then he goes, actually, I was thinking this of a fellow magic user. Oh, I should do the voice, shouldn't I? I was thinking about this as a fellow magic user. I don't want to go toot though. As a fellow magic user, there it is. Can you think of any magics that would be the opposite of prestidigitation? That's weird that Rock using a funny voice knows how to pronounce it, but Victor using a regular voice doesn't. Prestidigitation. Fuck it. Because what we have been doing at the manor is, you saw all of that wonderful art. Well, we want to preserve that art, and we used resin, and the store ran out of resin. So you do not have resin, do you?
I do not have resin.
I didn't think so, but it was worth asking. So do you know any magic which is the opposite of prestidigitation, which is the cleaning magic? And then she goes, actually, so we have the infrequent shipment come in where there are these little stapled together booklets of new unearthed arcana, and it doesn't really fit within any of the shelves, so I just keep kind of a box here on the checkout counter, and then this one, and then she leafs through a couple, and she pulls out one. I think this is exactly it. So she kind of turns it around, and then these are like little tiny booklets that are like half books, and it's maybe like 4 pages stapled together, and the cover is like paper bag material from a grocery store, and on it is handwritten, for this one in particular, sealant. So I made a new spell, y'all, because this is my goddamn D&D show, so I figured I could make new spells and stuff. So this is very exciting for me because the past week, and really this whole month, I've been doing a lot of D&Me stuff, and making plans for future episodes and like the longevity of the whole thing, and just D&Me for 2022. And I was going through all of my D&D notes that I've made for the past couple years, and over the years I've made like a new race. It's okay, so Toot Toot is an elephant folk, so I made like a hippo folk, but then from actual unearthed arcana, then they made a hippo folk. So I was like, okay. I just came up with the name, though. I didn't like do any stats or anything, but I called it Hippokin, and then they called it GIF. GIFF. So, I mean, I came up with the name of a race or species. People are now starting to suggest that we use species instead of race to describe the different beings in D&D. So that's interesting. In my notes, I am making a new class of, like, because I have a rogue, a barbarian, a wizard, and a bard, so I'm making a new class, and I'm going to keep that under wraps. A new school of magic, 2 mini games. One is Queso Quest, which is episode 18, but I have another one in mind. And then eventually, like, more traits and features and stuff for my boys and for Waddles. So, and then I eventually, these are all my notes that I wrote. So I eventually want to make some more higher level illusion spells because there aren't that many. Xanathar's Guide to Everything added 2 more, but that's about it. And then, yeah, so I made a new spell because I was like, okay, there has to be something for this. And then I looked and there really wasn't. So instead of buying more resin or waiting realistically for common items, the general goods store, for Hugh to receive more resin, or like me rolling to find more resin out there in the world, then I made a spell. So here we go. This is Sealant. It's an abjuration cantrip. So abjuration is the school of magic that is like protection and wards. It's like shield magic. Casting time. Now, when we get into specifics, that's something I need to work on. If I have some D&D artists helping me write it so that it's legitimately worded, we're messing around with it. We're trying it out. Okay, Sealant. Casting time 1 action or 1 minute. Range 10 feet. Components V and S, which is verbal and somatic. Somatic is like gestures. And then duration. I'm playing around with it. If it's an action, like 6 seconds, like in a round of combat, then the magic, the sealant lasts for 10 minutes. But if you concentrate on it, like for a minute, then it's more permanent. Like it's a sliding scale of stuff. But this is transparent protection magic that seals the surface of no larger than 1 cubic foot. So pretty much what prestidigitation was. We've seen Rock use it a couple times on Onyx to clean him up from the sewers underneath Waterdeep. And it's just like, dunk, dunk, dunk. Pretty much like laser removal or like tattoo removal. So you see dunk, 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 dunk. Just these pixelated squares being cleaned from him. And then the other time that happened was when Onyx was really muddy. I don't remember why or how, but the magic may be spent to cover 1 cubic foot, or the magic is waterproof. The spellcaster may choose a matte or glossy finish. Yeah, so that's something I did. So he finds this little Unearthed Arcana pamphlet. And actually, Unearthed Arcana is D&D and Wizards of the Coast's really clever way of like, oh, we dug up some new lore, which is when they release new supplements, then they go, oh, we uncovered some more Arcana, so we're putting it in this book, or releasing little supplements at a time. So it's really clever. So that's what I'm going to do. Anyways, he takes it and goes, he thumbs through it and he goes, this is amazing. This is really exactly what I need. And then, oh, he has to buy it, huh? Yep. And then there was like a 20% discount that I made the first time Rock bought something from Paige, but I kind of regret it because she's like, oh, well, if you're registered with the magics of the whatever guild it is, then you get 20% off. But realistically, there's so many Arcana users, like arcane magic users in Waterdeep, then that's just not a good fiscal business model. So I'm striking that from the record. Oh, I guess I can give myself 20% of whatever that was back. There's just so many details, y'all. Anyways, so with this, it's a cantrip. So normally to learn a spell, it's 50 gold per spell level, but spell level for a cantrip, I'll say 25 gold, because that feels good for a cantrip. And so then over the next hour, my Rock's spell book that my mom made me for Christmas is actually over there, but now I can write a new spell in there that I made up. So another transparent spell. So excuse you. So then Paige will hand over the paper bag booklet, and then she'll turn around to her display of magic inks, and she goes, okay, Rock, choose your ink. And then he will go, let's see. Well, because it's Fey Day, I think a nice verdant green will be very charming for this spell. And then as she grabs like this half bottle of ink, of green ink, not green like her teal sand, but she grabs it, she kind of puts it and slides it across the table. Charming it is. So then they spend an hour kind of learning the spell sealant together. So she will pull up another like half bottle for herself, and then she'll also take notes. So both of them are taking notes, and both of them are learning sealant at the same time. So that's very cute. I like it. Okay, so then beep, beep, beep. The chat says, Angelito Little Guapo says, awesome. Dodie or something says, you've given sealant great thought and it makes all the sense. Bravo. Thank you. Matte or glossy finish. Love it. And then Spruce H says, maybe give him a discount for being a cutie. Yeah, I thought about that, but Oh, no. So we do get this vignette of both of them learning sealant together, which is very cute. So then I'm trying to like tidy up loose ends before stuff. So then, okay, great. Then kind of the opposite chronological events of last episode. So last episode was Toot Toot Rock then Onyx. So we're going Onyx Rock then Toot Toot. We zoom in on Toot Toot from an aerial shot above the streets and him slowly walking home, kind of dejected, shoulders slumped forward and really breathing hard. And you see all these like kids running past and like streamers and the brightness of the street and the energy of the crowd hits Toot Toot and kind of washes down. And Toot Toot just breathes to himself and slowly meanders his way up to the Troll Skull Manor, and then he climbs the couple steps onto the porch, and he's standing just in front of the door. And then he looks above his shoulder at their very well hidden little hiding spot for their key. And then he kind of stares at that and then thinks of Rock. And then thinks of, we're hiding this away from Tipsy, so he's thinking of Tipsy. And then Onyx, and then Leaf, and then all of his friends that he's made so far here. And things at the yawning portal certainly stunk. But part of being a bard is sometimes you bomb a performance, and the important bit is that you get back up on a stage to play another song. So he kind of and then he looks up and he says, "The Doors." He looks up at the door and says, "The Doors." And then he fishes for his pocket. That would be a good musical group name. And then he unlocks the door and then opens it into this beautiful splash of color from everywhere. And literally the snow is melting out on the street, so there's still white outside, but in here there is not, on the walls and on the floor and on the ceilings, not a speck of white. So he walks in and just is overwhelmed by this beautiful Feywild landscape, and he goes, oh yes, that, okay, that's good, that's nice. And then he walks in, and then Leaf kind of floats over, and then he spells out hi, and then Toot Toot, "Hello, Leaf," and then does the sign for Leaf, the ASL shorthand for Leaf's name, and then Leaf points at Toot Toot and then does like the tusks. Da, 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 da. Toot Toot, tickling the ivories, it's a Loxodon joke. "Hello. Are you having a good Fey day so far, Leaf?" And then Leaf like straightens up his chest, and this bald half elf with a smart little vest and rolled up sleeves straightens up and puffs out his chest and like sharply nods, and then stares longingly out the door. And then Toot Toot, "Oh, I don't have many visitors been coming around and doing their scenes and their songs." And then Leaf kind of, his chest falls a little bit, and then he shakes his head, and then he signs, "Not so much, since people think this place is still haunted." And then Toot Toot, "Oh, well, I believe we need to change that right now, shall we?" Then he goes over to the door and fully opens the door, where he sees on the edges of the street Onyx coming from Steam and Steel. And then as the evening starts darkening the sky, and lamp lights turn on and lampposts are lit, and windows start lighting with candlelight, and all these different colored paper lanterns start coming up on the streets. Then Rock and Paige come in from Bookworm's Treasure because they closed up shop. And then Toot Toot's like, come on in here. We need to sing for Leaf. We need to do either of you know a scene? And then Rock goes, no, not really. I'm not good at the scene or the improvisation. And then Toot Toot, it's fine. Onyx, I already sang today. All right, well, Toot Toot then needs to think of a good Fay Day song. I will think about that. And then Onyx comes inside the Troll Skull Manor, and then Rock and Paige come inside the Troll Skull Manor, and then Toot Toot turns around, and Rock goes, actually, so I learned with Paige here. This is Paige. Sorry. You met Leaf just like an hour or so ago, but this is Toot Toot, the Loxodon Bard. And then Toot Toot goes, aye. That was an excellent introduction. Normally I do it, but it's always good to be greeted before coming on stage. So, hello, and you, the name was Paige?
Yes, hello. I am Paige, the wordsmith. I work over at Bookworm's Treasure.
I'm trying to think if they met before. I don't think so. So Toot Toot, well, mademoiselle, and then he like lifts up the hand and then bows deeply. It is a pleasure to meet you, and welcome to our humble abode. And then Paige kind of grins back into herself. And Rock goes,
well, in order to save us money on some resin and to preserve Leaf's work, we learned a spell to help seal it in. It's called sealant, so that makes sense.
And then Toot Toot turns over to Leaf. Leaf, I've actually been thinking about that. So I'm sure there is a calendar full of holidays, and just in case we want to wait for the resin, Leaf, do you want to preserve this? We have the floor down of this story, but is it fun for you to make new art for every holiday, or do you want to make something more of this tavern, like an inside mural bespoke for this place? I mean, this fairyland is magnificent and it's lovely, but is it fun for you to continue doing chalk drawings, or are you good for sealing them out right now? And then Leaf kind of scratches his bald head. I will roll for that because I don't know. Okay, so if it is even, then we will keep Fady. If it's odd, then we will go on for other holidays. So, even or odd. 3 is odd. So, okay. So, Leaf starts signing. Cool. That works out very well. Because Leaf starts signing that. Okay, hold on. There's a bunch of stuff. Leaf starts signing that he appreciates the preservation of the floor. And as we look down on the floor, then it's like you're standing on a pond, or like it's like this little pathway, like dirt pathway, but there's lots of different flowers scattered about, and there's like this big pond in where some tables and chairs would eventually be in the dining room for the
Yeah, the tap room, and there's like lily pads and rocks and like little rocks, and little frogs and salamanders, and it's a cool like wooden floor, as in of the forest floor. And so he signs like, I think that will work out nicely. But I've actually had some ideas for 2 days from now, which is the beginning of Fleet's Wake. What's Fleet Week then? Shay 21 through 30 is Fleet's Wake. So we've been spending this whole Shay 19 on Fay Day, but for the day after tomorrow, for 9 days, then there's a whole other holiday. And he goes, I actually have some really good ideas for that. So we can preserve the floor, but the walls, I could make some more chalk if I can get Tipsy to get me more chalk. And then reading that out loud, then Paige, like someone, Toot is reading Leaf's signings out loud. And Paige goes, actually, Tipsy came to buy the chalk from me. So I have plenty of chalk. I have art supplies. So Leaf, I have you covered. Don't worry. And then Leaf smiles grandly and then floats over to like this one big wall and like looks at it and is kind of planning out already in his mind like what's going to happen for Fleet's Wake, which is a whole week of holiday. No, it's a whole 10-day of holiday. So that's going to be bonkers. But then Rock goes, okay, great. So we don't have to do the walls just yet. That would be fabulous, and that will honestly save us some time, because if each cubic foot is 1 minute of prep, then there's some significant square footage in this manor of 3 stories. And then he looks over wide-eyed at Paige, and then you hear from upstairs, will you all shut up? It's so hard to read. Like, you don't understand. I'm actually learning a lot, though. Like, there's some balance techniques. Like, I've been standing on one of my bedposts, just the post itself, like practicing. And then I'm jumping from one leg to the other. And there's something about sweeping the leg or something, crane style. I haven't gotten to that page yet. I looked at the index a little. Anyways, this is Tipsy in the 2nd floor. I haven't been able to leave my room all day because there's raw chalk outside, and Leaf still hasn't changed that scary thing on the outside of my... Can you come up here? I need to use the bathroom so bad. And then Rock looks over at Paige. Why don't we start with the stairs? Let's preserve the stairs. I think we do the whole ground if we can, and then we will deal with the walls later. Thank you. A man can only pee outside his window so many times. You did what now? Listen! I'm so tired. So, that's very funny for me just to shout all that out in my apartment right now. I mean, in my recording studio. So, then Rock and Paige head over to the stairs, and then, like, a minute and a square foot at a time, then they start heading up. That's math, probably, huh? Oh boy, I'm not gonna do that math right now. That might be fun for D&D research after the fact. But then they start doing it, and then they start, just chatting a little bit, because all of their encounters have been kind of, well, certainly in the last episode it was hectic, but they would chat a little bit as they learned the spell, but they would mainly focus on the spell for the hour. So the fact that they're, doing some magic together and going upstairs and starting to, like, do that hallway right outside of Tipsy's
Where is the privy on the second floor? There's no privy on the second floor. There's no bathroom. Oh, layouts. Because that's Tipsy's room. Because this is Tipsy's room. So he has a balcony though. So you could pee over that railing. I guess. I mean, it's all fantasy, folks. Should I roll for? No, I don't want to roll for that. It's taking D&D too far. It's not D&P. So then Rock and Paige start magicking up the stairs, and then starting that hall, and then up those stairs. So there's quite a bit to do. So Toot Toot is standing in the tap room with Onyx and Leaf floating there, and Leaf is actually staring at the wall, so Onyx is just. And then Toot Toot looks down. Onyx, hello. Did you have a good Fey Day after we came back? Yeah. I helped the Buzzard Bros with the bones and stuff. So look at that. And so he's making his vertebra and his beard clang together. I love it. Gee, that's a very good smile, Onyx. Dude, thank you. Then Toot Toot notices, where are the rest of your bones? I'm having them made into armor. So that's cool. Oh. And then he looks down at his two hides, and then he goes, check this out. Leaf. And then Leaf turns around. I'm not deaf. Oh, right. Sorry, because look at this. And so then he unfurls the wolf pelt, and it looks like a wolf skin rug. And so he steps back. Yeah, that's cool, huh? Tipsy gave me that. That's cool. Do we want it for down here, or? And then he looks up at Toot Toot. This can stay here if you want. And then Toot Toot looks down. Oh, well, thank you, buddy. It's a good wolf pelt rug. Actually, I think when we open this place up as a tavern, he says over to Leaf, I think patrons would love seeing a wolf's pelt rug. It's very butch. And then Onyx, yeah. And then Leaf kind of watches both of them and signs, I guess so. And then Onyx kind of scoots the wolf pelt around, and then he unfurls, and then flailing out in 6 different directions is this arrowhawk skin rug. But it has 2 pairs of wings, so it has 6 wings? Oh, I don't remember what the math was. But then out plops, at the end of the roll, then the arrowhawk skull is at the front of this arrowhawk skin rug. And then Onyx goes, and this one's mine. I killed this in a beach because we were walking in this beach, and and then 3 arrowhawks came and were attacking us. So I was actually wading out in the shallows of the beach, and then I took this guy, and then I grabbed him, and then I drowned him in the shallows. It was awesome. Ooh, wow. And then you've kept him since, and then now he's a very handsome rug. Yeah, he's going up in my room so I can stare at it. Okay. All right. And then you hear at the open door, and then they turn around, and then Woodrow is outside
on the porch in the open doorway, and he goes, "Bed." And then Tutu, damn, Rock is upstairs. Rock, he's enjoying his time. Woodrow, hello.
Bed.
Woodrow, yes. Hello. Do you have a delivery for us? Delivery? And then Woodrow, delivery. Oh, that's 2 common words now. Great. Yes. But please enter into our abode, my friend. And then Woodrow shrugs because he doesn't understand common, and then just walks in because he noticed the hand gesture. And then he's helping carry in this dresser drawers, this set of drawers. Okay, first of all, there's a car, but chest of drawers. What's a dresser then? As you can tell, me as a 30-year-old in essentially a bachelor pad, I have little furniture pieces. I have one-night stands. No, I don't. But what's a set of drawers, and then a dresser. Golly, I should have done any research on this. Chat, help me. Help me, chat. Money, please. Okay. Okay. A set of drawers. So Woodrow brings in some wooden furniture, and then behind him, helping carry this heavy load, is this kind of wooden automaton, tall and just helping, not say anything. And as this wooden, it's very much like Bender from Futurama when he, instead of metal, he makes himself out of wood. It's very much like that aesthetic. So he walks in, and then he sharply nods at each of the 3 other individuals and helps deliver a set of drawers, a desk drawers, dresser, some of those. I'll make a list of the furniture that they need, but they bring in just some generic, the beds are bespoke, the bed frames that were carved previously, but these are just fleshing out pieces, and maybe another table or 2. And then Woodrow, this is a detail that I didn't mention, but no, this is great. So as Woodrow enters, carrying a set of drawers, god damn it, chest of drawers. Okay, I was bouncing around it. Brings in this chest of drawers, and then the wooden figure helps. Then, as we follow the 2 employees from the Forest for the Trees, then we turn around to see Woodrow's back, and then Woodrow has this small little these small little wooden fairy wings made out of plywood with little holes drilled in them. And it's a very cute design. It looks like it's made for maybe a 4-year-old. But this little cutout of some fairy wings are screwed into Woodrow's back. And then he's just, bed, delivery, bed, delivery. So he comes in. I don't remember if I just said this, but he was drilling the intricate holes. That was when they came back into the Forest for the Trees at the end of that episode. For Words. Yeah, episode 20, I think. So then they come in. Great. And so Woodrow drops off some furniture, then leaves. Bed. And then Woodrow, this is cute. So Woodrow delivers
8 furniture items for them completing a mission for the Emerald Enclave and Spanish Mustache and the Forest for the Trees. So after they finish unloading chests of drawers and like a table or two, then Woodrow stands at the open doorway, and then he I can't think of a Wood song quick enough. So instead, then yeah, this is good. Even better than a Wood song. Then he starts enacting this piece, and it's very theatrical and big, and he waves one of his arms, which is like this wooden club, around, and then he waves the other one presentorily, and it's this wooden, his arm ends in a shield. It's like grown together. And so then he's reciting this monologue in Sylvan, which is this kind of backwards Elvish language. And then the wooden automaton is standing stage left and watching this, and then Woodrow turns and opens outwards towards the wooden robot, and then coming down from the hills, oh man, sirens. Hold please. Chest of drawers. Then a dresser is its own thing. When I have a bunch of money, then I'm gonna have a soundproof, actual like studio set up. I won't live right next to a 6-lane street. There we go. So then like gestures over to this wooden robot, and then he says, and then down from the hills came Queen Titania, and then said to Oberon, and then kind of gestures back awkwardly and openly. His performance is very wooden. So then then Woodrow collects himself and then like shifts. And then just it's 7 minutes. It's many times have I seen Shakespeare, and just the first couple, like the first 10 minutes, you kind of have to drag yourself along. Like, this is literally like a different language, and it's tuning your ears to that. But then afterwards, even though there's a huge language barrier, then like you're getting into Woodrow's emotions, and you're like, yeah, oh wow, so this character that he's doing, I don't know his name. And then every once in a while, the wooden stage directions. And then he laughed. And then Woodrow would go on to like this thing, and it's a very beautiful piece, and it was quite intricate. And then afterwards, then, yeah, both of them, Woodrow, like, and then there's like this finality to the scene. And then Woodrow stands up straight and then waddles over to the wooden robot, and then the wooden robot kind of grabs, like, puts his hand on top of the shield, and then both of them bow. And then when you see them both bow, then you see the matching wings screwed into both of their backs, and then they go up. Thank you, says the wooden robot. And then, that was magnificent. Wow, that was really great. And then Leaf, like, is trying to clap, but his hands kind of go through themselves. Marvelo! Brilliant. That, honestly, neither of you, well, actually, you. Good robot, sir. No. Excuse me, you. And then Toot Toot points over to the wooden robot. What, do you understand common? And then the wooden robot. Yes, I do. Thank you for noticing. Oh, okay. And you work for the forest for the trees? Yes, I do. Well, are you... that would have saved us a little bit of something. What is your name, good sir? I am W00D, but you may call me W00D. Okay. It's just a bunch of... Great. You know what? Awesome. I am Toot Toot, the Loxodon Barn. This is Onyx, the Dwarf Barbarian. This is Leaf, the half-elf owner of this tavern. And then upstairs, well, you didn't see them, but is the rest of our adventuring party. And it is good to see you and Woodrow. So, do you also speak Sylvan? W00D? Yes, I do. Oh, boy. Well, were you just not in the barn when we were there? I was in the barn all 3 times that you have been there, to the Loxodon Bard. Oh, okay. Well, we will definitely require... Rock would love to learn this, but we will make sure to pick you out of the... Where were you? I was leaning up against the side of the wooden barn. When I am not needed, I live at the wooden side of the barn. Like inside? Yes. I was leaning up against the wooden side of the barn, yes. Well, then, it's great to meet you. Can I just call you Wood? Wood. 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 Then Tutu looks down at Onyx. Is that confirmation, or is he processing? Wood. And then I will roll to see if W00D will accept wood. So, even is yes, odd is no. 4, even. Wood would be acceptable as an alternative name for W00D. Fabulous. Wood. And then Woodrow. Bed. And then Spanish mustache. All in the forest for the trees. I just wanted to... Fabulous. Well, it is great to meet you, Wood. And then Woodrow, a pleasure as always. Delivery. Wood. Yes, Wood. Would you? Oh, boy. Oh, no. Would you be able to teach Woodrow Common? I could. Could you? Yes, could. Fabulous. This is all just a jumble, isn't it? A jungle. No, jumble. And then Wood points up towards, like, some of the Fey-Wild drawings. Jungle. Wood. Forest. This is all just... Onyx, do you have anything to contribute? No, this is fun. Well, great. So, thank you very much, Woodrow. We will be back. Thank you, Wood. It was a pleasure to meet you. Wood. Have a nice Fey day, gentlemen. And then they both leave, and then Woodrow kind of hops and skips down the stairs leading away from the porch. Oh, good Lord. All right. And so Toot Toot kind of goes, oh, this is fun. Toot Toot kind of sits at the bar, and then, Onyx, do you have anything to drink? And then Onyx, yes, I do. Then walks over to Toot Toot, because, yeah, the other ones are upstairs. And then after a while, then you hear, oh, thank God. And then, oh! And then Toot Toot yells out, Tipsy, seriously? Do you have to? Ugh. Okay.
Oh, that was so much better.
Then as Onyx takes out from his backpack like a bottle and puts it on the bar, then Toot Toot looks up at him. Onyx, sometimes this is just mayhem, isn't it?
Yeah, Fayday Mayhem. It's a catchy title.
Yes, it is. So, from Onyx's inventory, because Toot Toot doesn't have alcohol. I haven't looked at their inventory sheet in quite a while. While I'm on a siren break, I reread some of the Waterdeep Dragon Heist, and y'all, there's some good shit coming up. So, I wanted to wrap up some quests a little bit because I feel like the first chunk of D&Me for, let's see, episode 1 through 3 was really their first day here. Icy introductions to Tired Team. And then 4 through 11 kind of has been the rescue of Floon Blagmar. So, shops and snowy streets over to rat and real estate. And then after that, then they kind of broke off onto their own quests, like their own personal things, because I had a lot of stuff to resolve. So that was Woods and Goods. And then, yeah, kind of them going off to do the mission and then coming back for Fayday. So these actually like separate off into nice little chunks. That's great. So, Onyx has... Oh, I can mark all those off as being, like, the bones being processed and the hides, and then some of the silver dragon hide is being processed for tomorrow, future Victor, late morning. Remember that. But he does have 2 more bottles of random alcohol from the skewered dragon. He will take out one. And then I roll to see how full it is. I roll a D10 to see how full it is, and then a D20 to see how good it is. So I will mark down that it's just 1 random bottle of alcohol now. So how full it is. 3. So just like a third full. He pulls it out, and then out of a D20, an 18. Then like this nice almost scotch. So he pulls it out.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm burping a whole lot.
And it's only Onyx who's burping. Interesting. So he goes,
there was more in this bottle earlier, but it was a long walk from Steam and Steel.
You were at Steam and Steel? That's on this block.
Yeah, it was a long walk.
So he pulls it out, and then he gestures over to Leaf.
Hey, Leaf.
And because Onyx rolled a 2 when he was learning ASL, so he presented the only 2 ASL letters that he knows, which was an O and an L. So then Leaf, like, smiles at the effort and then floats over.
Yeah, Leaf, can you grab 3 glasses, please?
And then Leaf from behind the bar pulls out these 3 mismatched glasses, because you can imagine Troll Skull Manor having been abandoned for so long. Like, there might not be a matching set, and they need to get more glassware and plates and mugs, and there's a whole laundry list, y'all. But pours out 3 glasses and then puts one over to Onyx and then slides one over to Toot Toot, and then one's kind of left in the middle of the counter, and then Leaf looks down a little bit confused, and then Onyx pours a third of the remaining third into his glass, a third of the remaining third into Toot Toot's glass, which if you look at it, then Onyx pours a small amount for Onyx, and then if you look at it, then he pours a very big amount for Toot Toot, because just even though they're the same, then like Onyx drinks a whole lot more, and then you look over and like Toot Toot wouldn't maybe drink that much normally. So, and then he pours a third of the remainder into the glass in the middle of the counter, and then takes it and then slides it over to Leaf, and then Leaf looks down, and then Onyx, holding up the empty bottle, goes,
I think we should do a toast.
and then Toot Toot, Okay. Then he picks up his glass. What are we toasting to?
Well, I think for his generosity and his hospitality and the beautiful artwork you see around here. I think we toast these spirits to our spirit.
And then he holds up his glass over to Leaf, who just, his mouth is open, and then Toot Toot, who's proudly raising his glass, goes, "That was wonderful. A spirit to our spirit." And then Onyx.
Yeah.
And then Leaf, who has a very low strength. With an 18, though, he sure can. 18 minus a couple things because he's ethereal, but he does manage with like both hands kind of grasping onto the cup. Then it lifts up a little bit and it's kind of doing that like poltergeist floaty, like unstable. And then they clink. And then Leaf kind of like opens his mouth and like waggles his head over the glass and like inhales.
Wow, it's really unsettling.
And then the glass kind of go down, and then the Leaf's glass goes down, and then Onyx.
Yeah, that felt good.
And then just downs his whole third of scotch, and then Toot Toot. Oh, wow. I'm just going to sip this, if you don't mind.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
So then Toot Toot sips it a little bit, and then you hear at the open doorway, and then all of these people, all the guys at the bar, turn and look, and then you see this very presentary bard with a peacock feather and poofy sleeves, and like, I don't remember if I said this last time, but I'm picturing it right now. This like Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark, like coiffed goatee with a little curl on the mustache and a little, it's prim, it's manicured. And then inside walks James Three Strings Buffet. And this bard from the yawning portal goes, "Oh, hello, gentlemen. Oh, welcome," is what you would say for me. I'm Three Strings. Hello. And then Toot Toot. "Oh, Three Strings. Yes. To what do we owe the pleasure?" And then Toot Toot. Nope. Oh, no. And then Three Strings says, "Well, first of all, happy Fay Day. Second, apparently we have some things to talk about." And then he kind of tilts his head over. He kind of turns his head over to the right, and then materializing from the air is this blue-skinned tiefling with black antelope twisting horns upwards, and like this cloak, and slithering in from the doorway is this magenta floating air eel. And then Ago, the tiefling, says, "Yes, we have a lot to talk about." And then whoosh, that's where we're going to take intermission real quick because it's just about 8:30. So I'm going to play in the chat, Poppy, you said salute, but I thought it said salad. And I was like, so salute. Yes. I'm going to play intermission real quick. I'm going to use the bathroom and get some more water, but enjoy my old theatrical reel. Nope. Where is it? My commercial reel.
I hate to bring
okay, yeah. No. So it's my new theatrical reel and commercial reel. Enjoy.
Hello. I'm the sandwich aficionado. I used to rap in college. I rapped about bread. They'd call me Two Slice. And some other things. A bacchanalia beef lust. The sweet sarcasm of maple bacon. The cobblestone Kaiser roll dusted in corn, not mutton bone, as was the custom in the 16th century.
Victor, I'm gonna have you go first. I'm gonna go around the table. I want you to keep it simple and be clear and concise. Victor, would you like to get us started?
Absolutely. Nos autem fratris transfigurabe in RSA et AES et secure anti-information.
You guys are brilliant, and I love what you bring to the table.
Times change. Now you can set a budget and receive alerts about your progress. Times change. Now you can go online to schedule an appointment. Sweet time.
Oh, it's 8 o'clock!
Wait, for real? Cut! Sorry.
From the Atlanta Braves.
It's a baseball player. How can one baseball player do this to us? Why aren't you wearing any shoes? We have to get the punk who did this to us. Whoa!
So I got my buddy here. Yeah, there he is. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stop! Oh, stop. My cash pop number today is 6.
Like, haha funny? You mean all pixelated, blurry, and cropped weird? Just email everybody and send them a new file. I'm gonna do a blacksmith workshop. This is now a hostile work environment. I'm gonna call HR.
Hello, HR? Yeah, it's Rachel again.
I voted for my producer because I like hot breakfasts and a crafty with fruit snacks. Decaf chocolate milk. We're gonna go inside and challenge some folks to play a new game called Flanks. If they win, I have to give them $20. But if they lose, I'm gonna drink their beer. Nope, wrong button. And speaking of drinking, salad. Welcome back, y'all. You and me together, baby, for so long. I have another first-time chat from viewer. Hello, Ecology of Ants. Welcome, AD. Oh, awesome, AD. I am dyslexic. So, hello, Ecology of Ants. Thank you so much. Awesome ad. That makes more sense. Yeah, that is my theatrical and commercial reel. Because I'm a big-time actor. So, reading up the chat a little bit and waiting for people to come back from the restroom or getting some more water or drink, perhaps. Stop moving around. My mom says, nice Karate Kid reference. And then Sarah says, tipsy interlude, laughing my ass off. And then my mom helped me with chest of drawers. OMG, Woodrow's wings, 3 hearts. There are actual dresser drawers too, just to be confusing. And then the dynamics of Woodrow and Wooden Bender with pun is a wonderful scene. Wood, W00D. And then 3 little drink emojis. And then Ecology of Ants. Welcome. Hello. Great. So now to pick up the scene where we left off. Bro, stop moving. There was a thing. Anyways. So we are in the tap room of the Troll Skull Manor. And Toot Toot, my Loxodon Bard, Onyx, my Dwarf Barbarian, Leaf, my half-elf ghost, are at the bar, drinking and then welcoming James 3 Strings Buffet, the lounge singer bard from the Yawning Portal. And now dispelling her invisibility is Ago the Tiefling. And Amelia, her air eel, drifts and then like winds around Agos' neck and then falls into the normal like feather boa stance. And Ago walks forward and she goes, that was quite a performance, Toot Toot and the Yawning Portal today. And then Toot Toot says, oh, yes. You were there, I'm guessing? And then 3 Strings says, yes, I was. I was performing, but when there was a kerfuffle keeping me from my commotion, it almost worked out. I love alliteration. Isn't it great?
But yes, I watched the whole thing over the well, and I'm glad you are safe. I saw you got struck by the lightning bolt too, and ooh-wee! I'm sure that stunk. And then Toot Toot. Yes, it did. How is the Dragonborn, the gentleman who fell in the well? I saw that people were going after him. And then I'll go, he is better now, but on his way down, then he did pass away. He did what now? Yes, that was quite a shock. The lightning bolt hit him and then you, and then ricocheted back at the fairy, who, at this point, I am assuming is actual fae that you might know about or of. Regardless, then, as someone cast Feather Fall on the Dragonborns, and he did fall gently, however, the shock to his system with the lightning bolts took him out. So he did pass away. And then when they finally reached him at the bottom, then they brought up his body. And then Three Strings. And then Three Strings picks up. But, I mean, it's the yawning portal. So they have a giant well open called the yawning portal, for goodness sake. So you imagine that people fall in there twice a day. So, and thankfully it was a holiday and there was so many people. There were hundreds that heard my music, and people were around, and there were some healers. So they did revive him, but it sure cost a pretty penny because those diamonds do not come cheap. And then Ago picks back up. Yes, they brought him back, and he has to pay back that debt to whichever cleric healed him, because much like all of us, he was brought back into this world, and now he has to pay for it without consent. So I'm sure that he prefers to be alive. And then thankfully, since there were many people there, and after a lot of drinking, and some people pitched in and contributed, so he doesn't have the full burden of the full price. Went a little bit German there. So he is better now, but really you trying to help him further proves that you are a good man. Toot toot. And then toot toot. Well, I'm glad that he's okay. I'm glad that you both are safe. Yes, that was as far as we know, an actual fairy. So did she do anything else? Did anyone see her afterwards? No, she vanished after that. She came in, and it was... You imagine with a sprawling city like Waterdeep, where arcane practices happen on every street corner, that someone floating around and making other people fly is not the weirdest thing that you can see. Not completely out of the ordinary, but then I noticed the different flavor of mischief. So, but I'm glad that you are well. And then Toot Toot kind of swirls his scotch in his glass. Yes. So, Three Strings, are you going to sing for us tonight? No, good heavens, no. You can't afford me. Okay. Well, thank goodness for that. And then Ago heard that and perked up a little bit. And then Three Strings is still, I'm quite expensive. And then Onyx, wow, okay. Who are you? Who am I? I am James Buffet. Or you can call me Three Strings. And then whoosh, he whips out his lute. And that only has 3 strings. And he... wow. Hey. And then Onyx turns to Tutu, kind of disregarding Three Strings. Someone asked me to play earlier, and so I was like, hey, do you have a lute? So he has a lute. And then that story, without any context whatsoever, Tutu goes, yes, he does. That's kind of his name, and I'm Toot Toot, because this scotch is strong. I couldn't do my normal toot toot because I have a trunk, so that's kind of like horn or brass, and then he looks over to Three Strings. Tickle the ivories, it's locks. Anyways, so yes, what do we have? What would you like to talk about? And then Algo goes, well, unfortunately, Bonnie is working a double since this is Fay Day and a holiday, so she will be around after her shift, but she wanted to fill you in more on the mission. And then Onyx goes, mission? We already did it. We killed the zombie ogre, and then we brought, really, it's me that's burping. No one else is burping? All right. We did it for Spanish Mom. What are you talking about? We did the mission. We helped the lumber. Onyx, I'm afraid that she is talking about a different mission, which I have not had the opportunity to talk to the rest of you about yet. Quite yet. But, Argo, do you want to explain? No, I think best that Bonnie, when she does get here, then she can explain. Darnan, Fay Day is his least favorite holiday, so he takes the day off, but he hires extra help to run out the dishes and the drinks. But he doesn't like... Where's that in my notes? Hold on 2 seconds, sorry. Come on. He doesn't like being charmed or mind controlled, but he does well in hiring extra help. Huh, okay. Well, I think that this would be an important thing to get the whole group back together. So, excuse me. And then Toot kind of gets up a little bit, and then one foot down on the ground, the other one, like his balance is just a little bit off because this was 18 good scotch. And then, I should have eaten while I was at the yawning portal. However, there was so many people there. And then he goes to the bottom of the stairs. Gentlemen, and Paige, if you could come down here, please. I think we need to have a adventuring group. Man, we really need to come up with a name, but first we need to talk about our next kind of... If you can come down here, please. And then you hear Tipsy slamming the book closed and then hopping down and then... Hi, guys. I feel like I haven't been around for a long time. Reading that book is exhausting. But does anyone have, like, a really thin rope? Because we can tie it to, like, that part of the bar and then tie it to, like, this little banister here at the stairs, and I can, like, walk on it really, really good and do tricks and, like, have one foot down, and then Rock and Paige start coming their way down. And then, like, I jump and then use the other foot, and then, like, I can fall, and then, like, I haven't tried that advanced move, but it's, like, where, like, my crotch meets the rope. Hi, guys. And then Rock and Paige reach the bottom of the stairs. Hello. Just to let you know, we haven't done all of the stairs yet, or all the floor, but we did like little sections of the hallway where we can get to our rooms better. We didn't touch the fourth floor yet, Leaf, because you can float, but I'm going to make little markings so that we know where we can step. And then me and Paige, and then Rock looks over at Paige, and then Paige is looking back at him. We will spend a lot more time for all the floors, and did we discuss the walls? We might redo the walls. Toot toot. Yes. Anyways. Hello everyone. If no one, okay. So, 3 strings: James Buffet, Ago, Leaf, Tipsy, the Forest Gnome Rogue.
What's up?
Waddles, the plump gray rat on his shoulder, and then Rock, the purple half-orc wizard, Paige the wordsmith, Bronze Dragonborn, who runs Bookworm's Treasure. And then Ago goes, "Oh yes, it is good to see you again, Paige. I will come back for the next book in the Tusk Love series here soon. Very good read." And then Paige, "Yes, it is. Good to see you again." And then no one says hi to 3 strings. Anyways, so then they kind of, it's kind of this crowd. Good Lord. Normally it's hard, you folks, for D&D, where you have just a bunch of player characters and you have a bunch of players in a room all together, and then have 2 or 3 NPCs. But having all 4 of my characters with 4 NPCs and Waddles. This is probably the most people in one room. That's fun. Anyways. So, all of their voices are... No. All right, we should all go around and introduce ourselves. That would have been funnier. Nuts. Oh well, I'll do it for the next time when there's like 12 people in the room. This evening. All right. So, so Tipsy goes, "Yeah, so what's up? Oh, we're drinking?" And then he pulls out, now with even more hours put into the manual of quickness of action, he runs even faster up the stairs. And then he comes down with one of his bottles. Let's see. Because, yeah, him reading for like 3 days straight, he wouldn't have the chance to drink. So he's going to make up for some lost time. All right. Instead of 12 bottles of random alcohol, now he has 11. Let's roll. 1d10 to see how full it is. A 1. Yep. A 1. So it's the last little dregs of 11 out of 20. 11. So he comes down. He goes, "This is some pineapple, rum stuff." And then finishes up the bottle. I should go get another bottle. And then, no, hold on. Okay, so we are here to discuss. Gentlemen, I think we are all in agreement that our morals align, that we want to do good in this world. And we have found Floon Blagmar. We took care of some evil-doing monsters, and we are trying to help others. He looks at Tipsy, and then Tipsy kind of looks over at Waddles on his shoulder, and then nods grandly. And then Toot Toot waves at the rest of the group, waves at the rest of the boys. We have met a lot of good shopkeepers. He gestures at Paige. We are doing some work for Spanish Mustache, and all of that is very good. We are also a little bit, looking over at Rock, we are also trying to figure out the mystery of where we came from. But I think the next step in this is, as we get the tavern, he gestures over at Leaf, back up on its feet, that the next group of people we help are, and then you hear, and then everyone looks towards the open doorway, and then you see this bushel of red-orange hair, and it's dark outside now, so the light
bleeding outwards from the doorway of Troll Skull Manor hits this voluptuous feminine figurine. This voluptuous feminine figure. And then this delicate, pale face leans into the light. And then Faye Reagan, the leader of the fairies from the woods, says, "Hello, may I come in?" And then toot toot. Everyone has like this still energy now. It's from Onyx and Rock. It becomes a little bit tense. Like you can get this tense energy in the air. And Toot Toot steps forward. "It would be extremely rude if I say no. So you have my permission to enter." And then floating with this gown of autumn leaves flowing past, like, walks in this woman, and she is brilliant, like exuding her own light as she walks into the Troll Skull Manor. And then she looks around. This is cute. Looking at the art on the walls and then down on the ground. And then, "Which one of you did this?" she asks the group. And then Onyx kind of points over at Leaf. "Oh, close, but the colors are too dull. And the topography's all wrong. But nice try." And then she makes her way to the center of the tap room, and she has everyone's attention. And then outside you hear and then coming into the doorway, just at the doorway, is Amber Rain, thin framed with a prominent jaw and this blood red dress that's constantly flowing. And in her hand, she's holding like these golden cords that run behind her. And then we track, like handheld camera, we see Faye Reagan, and then we go towards the doorway, and then we see Amber Rain, and then we follow the cords. And outside of the Troll Skull Manor is this small crowd of different walks of life, of elves and dwarves and humans and a gnome or two, and they're kind of just meandering around right outside of the porchway. And each of these cords kind of drifts off of Amber's hands and then disappear. But as someone moves, then you can see the cord wrapped around their neck and tied, and all this small herd of people are tied together, and this web are just kind of stumbling around. Most of them are drunk, just like laughing and teetering, and like one or two shove another people out of the way, and then some have their arms draped around each other and are just singing into the night. And one like plops down on the steps of the porch, and then we cut back to Faye, who's looking over her shoulder outside. "Ah, you see our company that we keep now. This is our prize for tonight. So, thank you." She looks up at Toot Toot, and then Rock, and then Onyx. "Thank you for helping us get what we want." And then we cut outside again to step like
emerging kind of from the shadows of the porch is Blake Blossom standing with her blonde hair and more curvy frame. And then it cuts from Blake Blossom to Rock's reaction looking out the door. And then we cut to the crowd and we see the starstruck, bookish figure that followed Blake Blossom out of the bookworm's treasure in the last episode, just like, wow. Like looking up at Blake Blossom, who's not looking back at him, and she's staring through the doorway at Rock. And then she looks down at Paige, and then she smiles warmly but very creepily. And then she has like these nice dimples and looks back up. And then Faye Reagan looks at Toot Toot. Yes, so these individuals will be following us back home. And then she gestures to the murals. Again, not quite right, but oh well. And then we see Toot Toot and Tipsy really are the ones staring out the door the most, like slack-jawed and aghast. What is the meaning of this? Well, they're all following us of their own free will, if that's what you're asking. Then this is all voluntary. Some of it's a little, lubricated, but no one's they're all coming willingly. And speaking of coming, and then you just hear Amber Rain. And then she makes eye contact with Onyx, who tenses up and kind of leans away. And then cut outside again to the crowd, and then out of everyone that is moving and kind of just swaying back and forth, and like there's like some hustle and bustle, and then some of the people like try and walk further down the road and then just get tugged back by the string, and then the golden cords around their neck like kind of flutter into view sometimes, but like then disappear, because most of the time it looks like they're just a crowd standing out there. But then when someone moves, then the cord tightens, and then you see the like burst of golden light. And out of all these people that are moving, there is one figure standing in the middle that is not moving, and it is a small dwarf figure who hasn't moved at all this whole time and is just kind of staring blankly. And then with a tankard in his hand. And then you recognize him from the Skewered Dragon. And out of the two patrons that were inside the Skewered Dragon, then one was Thornan, who confronted my boys at the bar and then got his arm broken. But then this other one was just sitting at a window staring out. And then here he is now with a tankard and then just staring, and then his eyes slowly train upwards at my boys inside. And then cut to, again, Faye Reagan looking out. And most of them don't have anything to live for anymore. So they decided to spend eternity with us, living their best life. And then with that, Amber Rain like holds up a handful of blood and lets it trickle down her arm, and then like disappearing ink playing with this wet medium in her hand, and then kind of like puts her hands on her chin, playfully staring at Onyx. And then Faye Reagan goes, "For helping us, and I should more say, for staying out of our way, all three of you, we will do you one tiny favor. So think very long and hard, and then Amber Rain. Think well about how you want to cash that in. And then again, next year or before that, you stay out of our way. And then very pointed eye contact with Toot Toot, and then Ago, who's watching all of this. Those words ring familiarity in her head. And then she turns and looks Toot Toot up and down with a studying look. And then Faye Reagan, commanding the space in this tap room, takes one step back, two steps back. She lifts her hand and then points over at one of the murals. And then on the mural itself, the chalk starts to vibrate. And very much like sand art, just snakes its way and then starts reforming and recoloring and mixing. And then it's this almost storybook illustration with cell shading of the campsite that they were at in the woods, of kind of the two halves of the wagon sticking down into the ground and their camp, and three silhouettes of the three boys who ventured in there. And then she looks back up and says, "You can find us there. Well, whoever comes when you calls." And she makes eye contact with Rock. "You don't need sealant for that, because it's not coming off." And then she makes eye contact with every single person here. "Have a nice Faye Day." And then she winks. And then she floats backwards. And then you hear of Amber Rain. And then you see Piper Perry floating horizontally, kind of looking in through the open door, and then floats out, waggles her fingers. And then Blake Blossom standing very like Mike Myers. Michael Myers? Standing like Michael Myers, making eye contact as her body turns, and then she walks out. And then the crowd noise from outside picks back up, and then and a lot of drunken wailing, not wailing, but a lot of drunken singing and just shouts and slurs picks up. And then you see the four Fae leading their prizes out down the street, and then turn and then disappear from view. And then everyone in the room didn't realize that they were all holding their breath. And after really 2 minutes of silence and no one looking at each other and just collecting what just happened, then Tipsy walks underneath the new campsite art on the wall, and then,
"What's that? Who are they? What just happened?"
And then Toot Toot, while we went on a mission for Spanish Master. By the way, Rock, there's a wooden gentleman. Oh, I didn't ask their gender. Whose name is W00D, but we can call him Wood. They speak Common and Sylvan, and they work at the Forest for the Trees, so you can save a spell slot next time. And then Rock goes, "Okay." But when we went out there, then this morning, good Lord, it was this morning, we woke up and those 4 Fae were above us, and I had another encounter with one of them when we came back to Waterdeep. And I'm guessing you, he looks over at Rock, and you, looks over at Onyx, did as well. And then Paige goes, yes, I did as well. She was in my bookshop, and honestly, it was very scary. Yes, they are quite unsettling. So, but hopefully that is done now. Tipsy, and then Tutu looks up at Tipsy. Yeah, what? Can you grab a couple more bottles, please? I think we have deserved a night of drinking, of sincere release, honestly. Argo, you are more than welcome to stay. 3 strings, and then 3 strings already reached across the bar to Leaf's full cup and is just drunk half of it. I would love to stay. That is okay. Yes, Tipsy, if you can grab a couple bottles, please. And then Tipsy, my pleasure, running up the stairs. And then he will grab like 3 more bottles, just have a good time. So 11 goes down to 8. Let's do fun rolls for those real quick. Storytelling's fun. Wrapping up some loose ends. So, I have a 2, a 4, and an 8. 2, a 4, and an 8. 2, 4, 8. Red, blue, teal. And let's see how good they are. Red is 12 good. Blue is 18, and then teal is 1. So let's make sense out of this nonsense. Yeah, he brings down like, what's a 12 in terms of drink? He brings down some okay tequila, and there's only a little bit left. He's like, that's like a shot or 2. And then let's see, a 2 out of 10. So yeah, a 5th full, a 5th of a 5th. So then he holds up almost half a bottle and he goes, but this is really nice. This is like a nice, smooth, what's an 18? Shit. Onyx rolled an 18 for the scotch. So he goes, this is, almost half a bottle of scotch. It looks like the same thing. And then he brings out this almost full bottle and he goes, someone else can have this. And then slides it across with the one. And then they start getting drinks in more mismatched glassware. And then after that tense moment, after the awkward relaxation, then some genuine conversation comes up, and like 3 strings is cheesing it up, but Ago is talking to Paige, and then they're starting to have a nice evening. And then you hear a knock at the door, and then everyone turns and sees this plainly petite human woman with strawberry blonde hair, straight, a little bit frizzled out, and then she is standing in the middle of the doorway going, hi, can I come in? And then Tutu, God, yes, please come in. And can you close the door while you're there, please? I think we have, first of all, this discussion will be best private, but it's just, there's been a lot going on tonight. And do not drink from that bottle. It is disgusting. It is absolutely horrid. And then Bonnie goes, I've been serving drinks all day. I do not want a drink. Maybe if it's good. And then she walks in, and then approaching everyone at the bar, then she stops and stands. So, can we start? And then she looks over at Algo, and Algo gives a deep nod, and then looks over at Three Strings, and then Three Strings. I don't know what you're talking about, but I absolutely adore what was ever in that bottle. You pass me the bottle. Yeah, I don't need a glass. I don't need a glass. Bonnie, you want a glass of it? I really don't. Okay, so. Hi, I'm James Buffet. I'm Three Strings. I am part of a group called the Harpers. And we are the really good guys. Let me read from the book, the campaign guide, because I don't remember what it is. So the faction of Harpers are... We are altruists who work behind the scenes to keep power out of the hands of evil tyrants. So we're the really good guys. We think that there's been a lot of violence recently in the streets. Someone in the streets of London. What's that song? Something. Anyways, we think that the Xantirum are responsible for all of the violence. They are called the Black Network, and they're no good dudes. There's a couple agents of the Xantirum, and then Toot Toot chimes in. We have actually met and have dealt with some. Onyx goes, I have their breastplate. Okay, so yeah, you guys know that they're not good dudes. I probably shouldn't have drunk in this much right before explaining whole big plot points. Yes, Ago chimes in. It is frankly embarrassing. Whatever. It's okay. So, yeah. So, Harper spies might use the adventurers as instruments to get at the truth. Well, I probably shouldn't have read that part out loud. But yeah, he goes, we're really, honestly, I don't want to toot my own horn, but we are the best people here in Waterdeep, in terms of factions. And then Algo kind of holds up her hand. Shh, sit down. You are frankly a mess. Leaf, could you grab him a chair, please? And then Leaf floats over to the pile, the corner of the room with just a bunch of chairs and tables that aren't properly laid out. And then over the next 4 minutes, then you hear a very weak ghost dragging a wooden chair 12 feet away. 12 feet so that Three Strings can sit in it. And then Algo picks up. I'll go with the French accent, giving another big plot point. But yes, the Harpers are the group is some of the best individuals. And then she looks over at Three Strings, who slumps in the chair and goes, something in the streets of London. What is that song? And then we, the Harpers, we try to do the most good. And we noticed that you have done good as well throughout Waterdeep in your very short time here so far. And then Tipsy goes, yes. You're saying yes, right? No. Within the past couple of days, we have noticed your activities, and we want to bring you on board for the following. And then Argo looks at Bonnie, who goes, okay, Toot Toot, do you still have it? And then Toot Toot reaches in his pocket and then pulls out this golden dragon, which is this coin.
Let me hold it up so you can see it.
So this golden dragon, which is kind of hourglass shaped, and inside there is this little purple gem in it. And then he holds it up, and then he is looking at the rest of the group, and then holds it next to Bonnie's face. And then Bonnie like nods, and then she blinks, and then her eyes turn the color of the gem. And then Tipsy goes, "Wow, that's cool. I can probably do that with minor illusion." And then with his minor illusion, he has minor illusion, right? Yeah. Then like he kind of blasts a little bit of magic in his face, and then like his eyes go like his whole eyes, like the whites turn purple, and then he's like blinking, and then with each blink like a different section of his eyes turn purple until it's just the irises, and he goes, "Huh? Yeah?" And it looks exactly like someone had purple contacts and puts them in, and they're not really that transition. It's like really vibrant purple. "Yeah, I'm doing it." And then Bonnie laughs at herself. Well, laughs to herself. "Well, yeah, you're doing it, but it's not exactly that." And then she turns and looks at Onyx, and then she like blinks, and then her body like makes these kind of weird noises, and then staring at Onyx is Onyx. And then Onyx goes, "Oh, is that?" And then he starts like waving his beard again, and so the vertebra clink in his beard. And then the Onyx that was Bonnie goes, "Yeah, that's kind of what it is now." And then Rock goes, "Oh, well, no, I can do that with disguise self." And then he, with his last level 1 spell slot, does disguise self. So then he shrinks down. Let's see, how tall is Rock again? He's 5'11". So yeah, he can shrink down to 5'1", which is tall for a dwarf. And then he's Onyx going, "Yeah, I am a disgruntled dwarf. Bah, bah, bah." And then Onyx looks over at the Rock Onyx and goes, "Oh, there's so many of me now." And now, if I wasn't confused with Rock and Onyx already, I fucked myself. So, like, there are 3 Onyxes now in the Troll Skull Manor. And then Bonnie turns and goes, "Well, it's not exactly that either." And then she, like, bubbles and, like, morphs up to about 6 foot tall. And her features, like, her Onyx beard shrinks into this undefined chin, and like her skin turns like this dark purple, and it's kind of bumpy, almost like chicken feet, and it's tall, and her facial features just kind of morph into this amorphous ovular head with no hair, and the bright like lavender purple eyes. And then she stands up to her full 6 foot stance and goes, "I am a doppelganger, so it's slightly different from all of that, and I need your help for my people." And that seems like a good place to stop it, huh? Stopping a little early, but yeah, that's where we're going to end tonight's episode. So thank you so much for joining me. My name is Victor Rivera, and this was D&Me, where I play Dungeons & Dragons by myself. I stream on Wednesday nights on Twitch at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I throw the video on demand up the following morning on Thursdays on my YouTube page. Tonight's show will be up Thursday, January 20th, and then next week's episode is live, January 26th. You can find me on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and in podcast form and a bunch of other stuff, where on my Linktree.
right here. Link tr.ee/DnMeAdventures. Yeah, I have a little bit more time. Let's see if chat did anything fun. So my sister says, ooh, very good shape-shifting squelches. And then my dad says, great episode, thanks. And then my mom says, I've been waiting to see what this storyline is. Oh, here we go. So, yeah, that's fun. Okay, great. And let me do my outro, which is, my boys, roll to see who gives the outro. Onyx and Rock have gone so far, so it's Tipsy or Toot Toot. Evens is Teepsy, and then odds is Toot Toot. So here we go. 6 is even, so Tipsy. Y'all, I came downstairs and I just drank a little bit, and then like there were these hot chicks in our tap room, and then they left, and I was like, guys, come on, man, they're really hot. And then they like left, and then there's Paige, who I met before. That was cool. And then this woman who was in the corner of the skewered dragon that we went into, and then the really loud, obnoxious bar. Not Toot Toot, no, I like him. But the other one that was from the yawning portal, and then magic happened, and then the waitress from the yawning portal turned into like this purple alien guy. So, man, I don't know what's going on. I'm just tired. And I drank all of that on an empty stomach, so I am feeling it. Blah, blah, blah. Do y'all want to see like a Tipsy spinoff? No, Tipsy, we are not having a Tipsy spinoff. Oh, come on. Listen, I got like 9 more minutes, because it normally ends at like 9:30, right? So why did you end so early? Anyways, hey, thanks so much. I'm going to finish reading. Victor, how much of that book did I read today? I don't know, like a lot? Yeah, I felt like a lot. Yeah, so Dodie or something says, how much more of the book? Okay, let's figure it out. Because we have the time. Let's see. My notes. So I started reading at 10 a.m. and that was like half an hour. So let's say right now, at the end of this episode, Future Victor, it's like 8 p.m. All right? So 10 to 8, that's like 10 hours, huh? Yeah, that's 10 hours. So it's 22. Doop-a-doo. Yeah, y'all thought I was gonna like bap. Y'all are free now. Nope, it's gonna be the Tipsy Show. So 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. That's 10 more hours. So that's 32 hours read so far. I need 16 more hours, but I have a couple days to do it. I literally have 3 days to get 16 more hours. So I could knock it out like the next day and then be exhausted. That sounds pretty good, huh? Or, okay, what's 16 divided by 3? That's at least 5 hours. So I could tag along for the next couple episodes. Next couple days, and then just read before bed or like have an early evening or something. That sounds about right, huh? Okay, so 32 hours. But also, it's 8 p.m., so I could still read some more into the wee hours of the morning. Dodie or something says, we've missed you, Tips. I missed you guys too. Listen, I was tied to like a desk this whole time, and then Waddles had his own adventure. Man, I'm proud of that little rat. Hey, Waddles. Oh boy. Victor, you have too many voices that are so high-pitched. You just don't have that register, buddy. Okay, this is way too much. Okay, bye, good night, thank you, love you, bye.